we are now seeing the same issue and challenges faced with us with regards to substitute nurses. We have one substitute nurse right now, and she is spread between 2 or 3 different districts, and the other districts have upped their daily rate. So today, we're bringing forward, as a result of, the talent wars, for the board to consider raising the daily sub pay for a nurse from 120 to 150. I know Mr. Kerr would ask for local comparisons, so I included a spreadsheet on there for you, and you'll see some of them are up over $200. Again, it's up to the committee what they want to do. We're recommending the 150 just because it's been tough to get substitute nurses when needed, and there's a good possibility at a failure to do so, we may lose the one substitute nurse we may have.
I'm looking at the comparisons.
Okay.
What, how does the 150 compare with the other 2 districts that she's working in?
Yeah. No.
Because 150 seems pretty, I'm assuming that she's in a district that's probably within our county.
I think one's equal and one's
higher.
higher.
One's in Westmoreland County and one is in Indiana County. The one in Westmoreland County, I believe, is higher than the one in Indiana County. We're equal to.
To our, and this is an LPN that we're looking for?
It's a daily nurse, so it could be RN, LPN, but most likely a school nurse, CSN.
And there's no, but most likely a CSN.
Well, it's a sub nurse, so as long as we get a sub, we hired the LPN vacancy, we had the one vacancy we had, and she's doing well. This is just for a daily sub rate.
Can an LPN be hired as the substitute nurse
For the day, yes.
For the day, yeah.
When we,
for a day?
yeah, whether it's a certified school nurse or an LPN, for substitute purposes, we don't distinguish between the two, so.
Yeah.
Because I would think that there would be a distinction between the two for regular employment.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so a substitute person with a CSN is, I think, would be able to demand a higher rate.
Mhm.
So,
For their job duties for sub just coming in, I'm not saying on a long-term basis. When somebody's coming in just to keep the building running for the day, I would say for that purpose, they're doing the same type of work.
What surprised me,
Like CSN sub is not coming in and working on health plans, doing all those kind
Right.
of things. For the
Eye
day-to-day
testing and all
activities, they pretty much do the same thing.
and what surprised me, Miss Cinda, we're seeing rates over $200. I never thought I'd see that. So it's growing quickly and fastly. We thought we'd bring it to your attention, see what the committee would like to do.
you have a feel for what the other districts in the county are doing as far as substitute nurses?
A lot of them raised their prices. We are one of the lowest in the county that we were unaware of, and kudos to them, right? Because they
Yeah.
why would you tell us, right? So others are raising their prices. Like United has. United, I think, is pretty competitive, and some other school districts have. So right now, we only have one substitute nurse, and as you start hitting the spring season with field trips and different events of that nature, community-based instruction, the sub will be needed more than ever.
200 works out to $25 an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounded like a lot to me at first, right? But it's growing. Like Westmoreland County's killing. I mean, they're really growing in Westmoreland County, the rates. And that's the talent war. That's where we're pulling from, right? You're kind of stuck between Cambria, Blair, and Westmoreland County, right? And that's where we're in Allegheny. That's where we're pulling from. But it's getting harder, Miss Cinda. Again, we're respectfully asking this. The committee has the right to say no, and but we're asking for it.
Yeah, I don't think we have much choice.
Yeah, I agree. We don't have much choice.
Are you comfortable?
We have either a CSN or an LPN full-time every day at every building. Yes?
Yeah. We filled Horseman. The only one is the one. Did we try?
Every building has a nurse.
Yeah.
In it. Some have two if the CSN has to travel between the buildings.
But the extra
We're-
position we tried to create
yeah,
has
we
not
still-
been filled yet,
We still have an open position here at East Pike. That's
Okay,
because of the need here.
and that's the one you
Okay,
guys
'cause-
previously approved. Yep.
Right.
We have not
Because
been able to fill that.
We've got all of these extra things that we need nurses for, and at some point, it's going to be fiscally more responsible to hire another person full-time as a floater have a hired full-time substitute,
Yep.
basically.
And that's really the
Okay.
position that's unfilled right now.
That is what that
person
position
who
is.
would kind of be able to go between buildings, but also mainly work here at East Pike. So,
Okay.
you know, we're kind of using all
So
those
when we get
substitutes
that
for that.
person, then we will still need a substitute, but
Agreed.
Yeah, we're using
the pressure would be
substitutes.
off a little
Yeah.
bit.
It's not as intense.
We're using substitutes right now, even when we don't have vacancies, just to come in and maybe help the CSN in a building get her screenings done for the day to cover the office. So if we can get that position, which we're still trying, that will alleviate some of the sub need that we have.
And the partnership with IUP has been working wonderfully. It's just, I mean, listen, we talked about this for 2 years. The talent wars are hitting
Right.
us.
Right, right.
We're respectfully asking for you to consider raising it. And Dr. Schaefer's right.
Um,
$200 is only $25 an hour. I mean, so it's really whatever you want to decide, but it's getting harder.
And that's without benefits.
It is.
That's not high for a nurse.
It's getting harder, and they're in control of the market. They really are.
And this is something we do ourselves. We don't do this through Kelly
That's
at
correct.
all.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
Good.
Okay.
Yep. What's her name?
The big red,
Tammy.
big red.
I almost called her.
Thank you, Doc.
I almost
Thank you,
called her
Doc.
Terry and then Tamara, and I knew.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think we have any choice. I mean, United School District Board, one of their board members was telling me about how they can't find anybody for anything anymore. So, yeah.
Okay. Next on the list, number 3, we have an updated job description. As you know, we have a vacancy at the high school. I asked Jared to meet with the high school administration because that's where the vacancy's at, and go through and look at the job description. So I hyperlinked it for you for your attention. I thought it was well overdue. Even some of the terminology. They used to call them a TEP, Truancy Elimination Plan. Now they call them School Attendance Improvement Plan, I think it's called now. So we just changed the acronyms, updated to be more reflective of what we want the position to be. It has my full support. Jared did the work with at the high school administration. I reviewed it. I'm fine with it. Jared, any background that I may have omitted?
No, we've worked with the union as well, so they're,
Yep.
it's been given to them ahead of time to make sure they're okay with it. They had a couple changes that we incorporated, but they are in agreement with what we have on the agenda for tonight as well, so.
Okay, comments?
Okay. The next, Ms. Cinda, I can go over it in depth as much as you like, or just go over, but we did this last month. This is the second reading. Any feedback I got, I made changes. You and I worked pretty closely on that. But these are recommended for, most likely liability purposes. And they have my full support. The committee reviewed these once. And we discussed these at the last month's meeting.
Yep, I'm good.
Me too.
Did you guys have anything for the second reading?
No.
The only update I'll give, we still did not get, and I'm not saying that to make fun of anyone or hurt anyone. We've still not received the state mandated training that's coming on yet. So we're still working on our own. That has not been released to schools. So we are still working on our own. We're in a good spot compliance wise.
We have to do the mandated training, but we don't have the training yet.
I still have, Ron, unless I'm incorrect, I have not released it, to my best of my knowledge, as of November 2nd. When I was with PSBA,
Right.
they have not released it.
That's government. Hurry up, wait.
We have to comply with something and we don't know what to come up with.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Next,
That's it. Those are all policy. The rest are all policy. Ms. Cindy.
all right.
They will be voted on tonight, presented tonight for second reading if the board's comfortable with that.
I'm good with all of them.
I'll probably just have you pull bowling in that. separate.
Okay. Yeah,
The voting one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a phone call about the vaping thing going, what is that? What's going on? I'm like, it's a safety, say no. But, yeah, I'm glad we're moving forward with it.
Okay.
Did you say bowling?
Huh?
Bowling.
Yeah, I heard bowling too the first time. That's why I read over the thing. Oh, wait.
We talked about that a couple of years ago.
I'm thinking bowling.
Remember the lady who did it?
I do want to make a comment on that, that says if I could, on the plane.
Well, you want to make a comment now, or you want to make a comment during the meeting?
No, this is just I mean, I read the survey. I mean, it's alarming, but I think it's great that the students have taken the initiative to do something about that. I think it's something we really have to address.
I agree.
And,
Yeah.
I give the students credit. What I was worried about last week when they presented was what was your solutions. I'm glad they're working towards solutions, right? Because they have to own this work too.
Absolutely.
It sounds kind of simple, but they outnumber us, right? They outnumber the administrators, they outnumber the teachers, and they have to learn to police and work each other. And I think you have a good group of kids who are trying to fix it, solve it. And this is a teachable moment for all of them. And I'm glad I think Mr. Bowers did a nice job leading them, helping them. They did take me up on the offer. So FYI, whoever has to approve my spending, they did take me offer on that lunch to start meeting with us and working with us. And so I want to hear from them too, because like there's a point where the data's, and this is what I told Mr. Bowers. I don't mean this to be hurtful or dismissive of their presentation. The data's good, but what comes after it, right? What are we doing to make things better? How are we going to do things to improve the school culture, school climate? How are we using PBS to implement that, those protocols and procedures in place? On another note, since we're talking about, Mr. Hart brought it up, the school psychologist started today. Her first day was today. The one you hired 60 days ago, she came in today. So we got to acclimate her to the buildings. Justin walked her around. She stopped in to see the Spirit program at the high school. And we're going to continue to work. But I agree with you. They have to start mobilizing this. We have to take this seriously.
The one thing they did stick out that I thought was good, and probably the teachers never thought about it, was a lot of it they said the teachers need to be in the home when the
Yep.
class change. And I think that's a good thing.
Mhm.
I mean, if I'm a teacher, I probably never thought of that,
Yep.
but I'm glad the students thought of that to say you need more control. And make sure it doesn't happen in the hallways. as
Agreed.
Classes change. I thought it was a good point.
Yeah.
So
I think
did
there
her
could be a lot
previous,
more further done with that now.
And I think that's if we look at some of our data, that's where the hot spots are. Like I thought it'd be the buses. It wasn't.
Yeah, that was kind of bizarre.
Yeah, I was a little shocked. I thought that because that's the most unstructured area.
That's why I was pushed around the most.
I mean, seriously, that's what you see.
bus
Most of it.
is a little bit higher at the elementary school than it is like as you go up, buses less and less, and it's more in hallways.
Yeah.
And teachers don't stand in the hallway near their classroom door between periods anymore?
I think there's strong encouraged to, but I don't know if it's definitive as it needs to be.
They don't
Yeah,
now, but they're going to be.
As a
Yeah.
substitute teacher, we
Yep.
were told you will be
Be
out there.
Yep.
I mean, that was one of the things, because
Yep.
I know it's easy to sit there and try to get ready for the next class
Yep.
and so forth.
You're right. It's not evil
We
intent. I think we
encourage
just
that.
got a little.
And then I know the other thing too, if somebody has hall duty, if they could rotate the presence of a teacher walking down the hall during, through the students has a big effect.
Well, and I think we think because we have video cameras everywhere that we get complacent and thinking that's covering it where it's really not.
Yeah,
Mhm.
people pick up audio.
An incident that doesn't see all the little stuff
Right.
that goes on, the back of the room, the little stuff.
That's all I was saying.
I'm good, good,
Good.
Okay.
okay, thank you, we're adjourned. 10 minutes.